Welcome to the second episode of the To Be Determined podcast. This is Jordan Evans speaking. I'm with Jared Skogseth and special guest Kevin Trinan. Welcome, fellas.
Yeah, what up? I think we're just a couple of dudes being dads talking about fantasy football with a special guest this week. It has a nice little ring to it.
It does. It does have a nice ring to it. If we get merch, then I think we're fully in. But until then, we're unofficially sponsored by Cutwater, Cutwater flavored liqueurs, where if you don't know where you're at, then you're drinking Cutwater.
I like to hear you. You go from 0 to 100 real quick on those. I think the labeling on there is false advertisement. You just hit the
Mm.
nitro with the alcohol levels, and then boom, all of a sudden you're in Jordan's backyard eating pizza.
Yeah, where were you the last time you blacked out? Probably drinking a Cutwater.
Agreed.
That's a little Narnia.
Welcome to
No.
Narnia. Speaking of blacking out, I did lose the lowest score after being the highest score. I turned around, said, "Hey, heard the bottom's pretty nice. I'll go check it out." So I've already opened it, but it's a lemon ice Truly. If you haven't had the new Truly pack, it's got cotton candy.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You're only gonna want one of them, but it takes you back, takes you to the circus. We're about
Which
to go
one's
to
that?
the
Is that
circus.
lemonade?
This is a lemon ice. So
Oh,
this
nice.
one's all right. There's a cherry ice, and there's a blue raz. The blue raz is pretty solid too, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I changed my
So
drinking choice. I also have to own up on a bet. Um, I got decimated by Watson. Zombie Buddy said that's why it's called Left for Dead and left me behind in our week 2 matchup. I don't have as fun of a drink. This episode, partially sponsored by Topo Chico, and I think I have one of the worst flavors left. Tangy lemon lime. It is just
mm,
absolutely awful, and I keep it in my house for people that I don't like. This gets
yeah,
handed
I think I've
out
drank
when.
a couple of those.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but yeah, you,
Yeah.
you
Hey,
piss
I
me
mean,
off
you've never
sometimes.
offered it to me, so thank you.
Well, I'm taking one for the team. So let's. This can be brutal. This is a hard can to
Cheers it
chug from. Bottoms up. Let's do this thing.
to the moon.
Ooh, can you guys hear that can?
I'm
That
not
is.
done yet.
Oh man, that is disgusting.
Wretched.
Ugh.
Oh,
Ugh.
It's nice to have all the three chuggers so far of the year together in one place.
Yeah, you know what they say about chuggers? I don't either.
oh, you know.
They all live in Louisville or something. I don't know.
They live and lose. Speaking of living and losing, let's dive right in, fellas. We're gonna jump into our week 2 recap. First matchup is gonna be yours truly, diving into CD's nuts versus threat level midnight.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, we're gonna take a step back as well. Actually, I went a little too quickly there. Jordan with his week 2 pick'em. Give it a little shout out to you. He took the favorites in every matchup and he went 5-1. The only matchup he lost was himself. Fun
So you know I'm
fact.
not throwing them. You know I'm not throwing them over here.
Yeah, he's not cooking the books. I thought you might have Calvin Ridley on your team, but it looks like he stayed away. But way to go, first week. I went 3-3 in week 2. Wasn't the prettiest thing. I took some gambles, didn't pay off. But dive right in. CD's nuts.
Well,
Uh,
I just want to say, remember what Tom Brady said, fortune favors the bold.
was he the first one to say
Yeah.
that?
Did he have like four
Yeah.
pauses in the middle of that too?
He definitely chugged a truly lemon ice before he said that. So
There you go. Fortune favors flavors Fortune
Flavors of
flavors the
bold. All
bold.
right.
I like it. We have a nice little spin there. First off, let's start off. I love this part. I get to knock my least favorite team in the NFL. Why I took a gamble on them, I don't know. Dak Prescott, he is ass. Throw him in the dumpster. Put him in the toy chest. I don't want to play with him anymore. Get him off my team. Got the big contract. He can kick rocks. Dude fucking sucks. Um, Straight from there, Kyron Williams, I still think he balls out. That team is decimated. He put up a showing in week 2. A Chain, absolute baller. He's going to give even more work with Tua out. CD, he came alive. Kevin, I got a question for you. Coming into this draft, I had high hopes on one specific player. You want to take a guess who that is on my team?
I'm gonna guess it's the next guy down, which is my boy Pittman, who got. Speaking of getting paid and not playing,
What's going on, man? I need answers.
I mean, well, the Colts can't complete like any passes. That's one problem. I think Pittman had like 8 targets, and
you think he just
he
has
doesn't
a
run.
case of the drops, or is that due to vomit on the ball?
That's part of it, yeah. Like he did have a bad drop, but I wouldn't want to touch that ball either.
For those of you that don't know, I think it was the Packers center, Fat Boy. Sorry, shout out to all the Fat Boys. Still one of them. Played in high school, but I don't know his name. But just right before the play, puked all over the ball. They didn't do a stoppage of play, and Malik Willis didn't throw the ball on third down because he couldn't grip the ball.
Yeah, hey, I mean, like, the Packers coach LaFleur just masterclass. Like, he took every little advantage he can get. Like, we're going to puke on the ball. We're not going to throw it because it's so slippery. Like, it also made Jacobs fumble in the end zone one time, but
This begs the question: what is the best play to run with puke on the ball?
Ooh. I'd say
You,
I think it depends on what formation you have, what kind of players are out there. If I'm going to trust one person to hold on to the ball, if there's a fullback like a Kyle Juszczyk, that's a guy with grit. If somebody's going to be unafraid of a throw up ball, it's going to be a fullback. That would be my pick.
Yeah,
that would be my pick.
Fullback dive, but you want a little bit more bang too. You know, if you can find somebody to take advantage of that puke smell, maybe to keep the defense away from it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, my team didn't show up week 2. Bad take. Colts defense. I thought this was a genius play. Possibly, I envisioned 30 plus points when I plugged this in. Yeah, Malik Willis, hands down, worst quarterback in the NFL. Just terrible pick. He's playing on Green Bay. If I'm sitting there, I'm making Malik Willis throw the ball every single down. I'm stopping Josh Jacobs, make this guy beat you. And they let the Packers put up, 150 plus rushing yards in week 2? It was bad.
They had that in the first half. Like, I could have told you after week 1 when they made Joe Mixon look like an all-pro. Like, the Colts run defense is just awful. So
yeah, it was terrible.
I get it on Malik Willis, but it didn't play out for you.
Yeah,
potential strategy there.
Maybe. But Alex, kudos to you. Team showed up, showed out, straight down the lineup. We went toe for toe, toe to toe. Not we weren't cutting off toes. But A Chain versus Cook, Thursday Night Football. That was a battle of the juggernauts. And then, sorry, I just didn't show up. The rest of your team balled out. Neighbors possibly starting to run for Rookie of the Year. Burrow, is he going to be back? Gibbs is just a solid monster. Kittle put up a big game versus the Vikes.
Yeah.
Ramondre, he could be a steal of the draft. Dicker the kicker beat his expectations by 0.83. Gotta love that. Extended projections on Dicker. He's shown a little bigger. It's good for him. Seattle defense didn't really work out, but got the job done.
Alex has a really good team.
Yeah, and Jigba on the bench too. That's a dude that can make some plays out there.
Really,
16 targets this last week.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Kittle is only going to get better because now they don't have Debo or McCaffrey for a long time, so he's going to eat.
I'm going to go the opposite side. I think that means he's going to get hurt. I think 49ers already have the injury bug. It's like that one meme of the Grim Reaper going door to door, and it's just a bloodbath. Yeah, and CMC, actually started with Ayuk. Contracts, CMC, Debo, Kittle. He's up next. But let's keep it rolling. Next up, we have Trinan versus Pryor. Kev, take us down your lineup here.
You know what they say about teams that have 3 quarterbacks? You don't have one. I tried to pick up Justin Fields because I cannot trust Caleb Williams. At least I was right on that, but I still should have started Kirky. Derrick Henry looks good. The Ravens don't. But I like Henry. I mean, DeAndre Swift cannot get it going. I don't know if it's really his fault. The Bears' O-line is just awful. Wasn't there some stat about Caleb Williams having like 41 dropbacks and the Texans having 36 pressures?
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts.
So it's going to be fun to see Swift against the Colts run defense this week. Be a battle of the negatives here.
Can only go up.
At least I'm seeing some improvement. I really laid into my guys after week 1. At least I got a 97-yard touchdown out of Jefferson. Drake London showed up, game-winning touchdown. Made my score more respectable than it was, but I mean, hey, if you're gonna lay into Pittman on me, I gotta do the same thing for McLaurin on you.
We're going to come back to some of these players. I'll stand up. McLaurin has been an absolute standout 2 weeks in, just a target monster, just showing up, showing out. He's balling out with average of 4 points per game. I blame Kingsbury. I shouldn't have known better. Kingsbury is an absolute asshat.
It's funny, like he's the 4-vert king, and he sends McLaurin for 2 yards. Like
he doesn't put him in motion. I'm not gonna go out there and be a homer and say McLaurin is an absolute monster. The week 1 stuff that was sarcasm, but McLaurin is. I'll put him top 20 receiver in the league. I'll stand on that. I think for what he's had to deal with, he can absolutely ball out, and he's just not even getting a chance. So maybe that's possible buy opportunity. If you on wheel and deal on McLaurin, let's maybe talk shop.
Yeah, well, a little McLaurin for Pittman action. I got to give a shout out to my kicker, Fairbairn. Guy is awesome. He almost, if it wasn't for Jefferson's touchdown, he would have led my team in scoring for the first 2 weeks, both, which that's a different problem. But
why do you still have Hollywood Brown on your lineup? Why is he still on? Did you drop him yet?
No, not yet.
Didn't he get put on season-ending IR?
No, it's 4-week IR.
Oh.
Not expected to return this season.
Big bold lettering.
Oops.
You did
Pryor
it again.
Pryor has a good team, even with his really depleted lineup. So now, I mean, I made the game closer on Monday with that London touchdown than it really was. He missed Cup for a lot of action on Sunday, and he didn't have McCaffrey, and he has a good team. Like, Jalen Hurts is unstoppable when he runs. Dobbins looks really healthy for the first 2 weeks. We'll see how long that lasts. James Conner is a monster. Like that that Cardinal offense is actually pretty good. They have some good players.
Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean that going up the Cardinal offense, that might be the surprise of the season so far after how bad Murray looked last season. Just kind of dealing with some, I don't know, mental, physical, just not all there last year. It seemed like. Uh, and prior team, we said it last week. He's got a good squad. I think I
Yeah,
picked that. I mean, I did pick that one because I mean, that was one where it's like you look at the players, you're like, all right, you're pretty deep. I mean, maybe figure out different
I
tight end, but right now tight ends are just trash across the board. So
I don't think you can
not a
say
lot.
pretty deep and follow up with tight end right after.
I mean, like
That's a
he
statement
had
and a half.
like Evan Ingram got hurt on him in a pregame warmup, like in a pretty bad injury, it sounds like, and he didn't have McCaffrey, and he lost Cup, and I still lost after having a good week. So, like Pryor has a good
His
depth, I guess I would
his
say.
core is strong. He'll have
I,
to do some tweaking though these next few weeks to
Yeah,
get through. Luckily,
this
there's no buys though for a couple more weeks, so
this
it's good timing for him.
this team is
yeah,
fascinating. This is the all injury team, and I think when this is my biggest pick to implode, Dobbins. He's absolutely balling out, looking great with Rome as the OC. Um, but I've been burned by Dobbins too many times in the past. I think you
yeah,
ride him while you got him, but this isn't built to last. He's like a Ford truck found on road dead, soon to come. James Conner, same thing. He balls out, but there's going to be wear and tear. I don't think he's played a single full season. Olave, same boat. Cup already injured. Taysom Hill, absolute road warrior. But when's he going to start scoring? Jamison Williams, injury histories. He's a good pick. The Chargers defense, full of injury history. That is a whole story and a half we could dive into. So
yeah.
depth is going to be the question of this team. But he's balling out while it's lasting. Let's keep rolling. Next matchup, Jake versus Paul. Jordan, take us away on this one.
Yeah, so I mean, this is back to the Cardinals, the Kyler Murray story. I mean, Murray put up 25% of Cruz's points, which would lead you to believe he had some struggles in the other positions. But if Kyler, Montgomery, and Devontae, you're going to have a pretty good squad. And Debo put up what he needed to, and not getting a lot of production in other spots. But when you're, literally getting 80% of your points from three guys, you don't really need to have the other guy step up. And it kind of gives him some
Yeah,
opportunities early in the season. Um, Finding some waiver wire guys. I mean, the bench is actually pretty solid. Had a
it
pretty
is.
good week
I mean,
overall.
he's gonna miss Debo for a while, but he can just slide Godwin right in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was about to say that decision. I was just looking at the bench and Godwin down there really confused me. But looking at the
Yeah,
rest of
yeah.
Cruz's
Godwin
lineup, it makes
Godwin's
sense.
been a nice surprise this year. Like he looks like one of the best receivers so far. So we'll see how that continues. But
I think he
it's really
might
good.
be close. He's top three receivers right now
Yeah.
through week
At
two.
some point, that's got a balance between him and Evans too. But um, so far so good for Godwin.
Yeah,
yeah.
I switch as soon as Jake starts playing him.
There's probably enough to go around for both those guys. I mean, they don't have a lot of other weapons, so those guys are going to see
Baker
the
looks great.
ball a lot.
Yeah,
yeah.
Baker looks really good.
Baker's on the bench on his team. I think Cruz
Yeah,
eventually throughout the season makes a deal for one of these receivers. Honestly, I know Rashad White put up a three burger, but yours truly has that handcuff, and I think he's coming in hot for White's spot. Um, so I think that's going to balance out over the course of the season with Bucky Irving and White. Rashad had volume with no competition last year, and I think Bucky from Oregon is going to balance that out. Montgomery's still a monster, though. There's some absolute ballers on this team. Um, I'm sorry, Cruz, but I'm still questioning the 75 fab on Likely. There, I can't let you off the hook on that one, brother.
yeah.
We knew that was coming. It's one of
I
those
was like,
everybody wants to make a splash. Everybody wants to drink the Kool-Aid. You knew he wasn't gonna show up in week 2, and sure enough, 3.6. Man, the dude can ball, but that was a big splash.
I
You
compare it
never want to
to
overreact to week 1.
Exactly.
you're going to the gas station with your parents, and they say you can buy something here, or you can buy someone to get to the toy store, and you say, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna buy everything at the gas station," and then you get to the toy store, like I don't have any money anymore.
Yeah, fuck.
I never did that. I never did that personally, but
You never
it's
took
what it
Mayor
kind of
Mike to
feels
cleaners?
like.
yeah. Paul, let's move to Paul's team. Paul's team's hurting right now.
And
Yeah,
I think Stafford could be cooked until he gets his
you cut
weapons
him.
back.
You out? What do you think?
I don't know if I don't think you go that far.
Bench him.
But Paul also has Jordan Love on the bench. You ride it out until he comes back, then you're in better shape at the quarterback position.
it sounds like he might be back this week.
Yeah,
He
it's not
practiced today.
practicing.
That'd be helpful for him.
ETN.
Yeah.
I'm not. He got a touchdown. He hasn't showed up this year. He has not looked good in both games. Jordan
Yeah,
Mason.
Neither are the Jets.
Jordan
I was
Mason.
gonna say, like, that's par for the course for Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jordan Mason could be steal of the year. He could be this year's Kyron Williams. Once again, Pryor still throwing shade at you. Absolutely do not understand it. You got CMC on your team. How do you not spend 100% of your budget on that cuff? I already went into my theories last week. I'm staying true to those. You're distracted. Get it together, brother. Nico Collins. He
Baller.
is the most fascinating receiver to watch it through 2 weeks. I'm not saying he's the top receiver in the NFL, but I've watched both Texan games now, and he is a force to be reckoned with. Physical specimen, demanding targets. He is just balling out on everybody.
He's throwing DBs out of the club like every play.
Yeah. He could be this year's version of AJ Brown from last year. He's just on a tear, and I don't see him slowing down. Only thing I'm gonna hold against you, Paul, Tank Dell right behind him. Little cannibalization there, or if that's a word, you're cannibalizing points. I don't think you can feed both mouths there with Diggs in town and Joe Mixon balling out. So that's gonna hurt a little bit. That would be my take. Also,
I'd save those guys for the Colts.
Yep, and Justin Tucker, Mr. Dependable. He is the only kicker that has missed not once but twice from 50 yards this season. I had a couple hot takes on kickers and how great they are in fantasy football, and Tucker put up 12 points. But he is not the juggernaut that he once was. I think we're starting to see 17. Some flaws.
He's number 17 right now.
New era.
Yeah. Will he keep it up? I don't know. But yeah, a little bit of an injury bug on this team. Speaking of ETN, I see you have the cuff with Bigsby on the bench. Good pickup. Some good pieces on this team. Let's keep rolling. Next, we have Big Tony Dick versus Run CMC. I need to look at this lineup. What is Big Tony Dick? What am I missing here?
Just Google it and go to images, and you'll figure it out.
Whoops, clicked. And we're going to come back to Chef later in this podcast, but Chef is this team is down bad.
Kevin, you should talk about his quarterback.
Trouble.
Talk about his quarterback a little bit.
Yeah, let's hear the take. Where's A-Train?
He's the number 8 QB after 2 weeks. Like, I don't think he's a problem. He had one bad game. It wasn't really all his fault. Like, their receivers had full drops because the Packers puked on the ball. Richardson's going to be just fine. This was his worst game of his career. He had 10 points. Like, he's going to be just fine.
He had
But
3
Steph
picks.
has a lot bigger.
3 picks is
He's going to be just fine.
okay.
Yeah, if that's his worst game and he got 10 points, that's like the least of Steph's worries.
All right. So we have that take on Richardson.
He has a much bigger
Got a
problem.
Richardson defender, the
I-
man with interlock hanging in his apartment.
Yeah. I don't see a Richardson framed jersey behind you. That's going to cause me to question this take.
I mean, yeah, he has to earn it. He has to be healthy for half a season first.
We shall see. Speaking of health, let's go down the rest of Chef's lineup here. Pacheco, dead. Ezekiel Elliott might as well be dead. Retire.
He's been dead for years.
Tyreek Hill.
He shouldn't be a starting running back.
Tyreek Hill. Dead.
He'll still get some points, but he's not going to be nearly what he was with Tua.
Tua's dead. Zay Flowers.
Skylar Thompson, terrible.
Yeah, Zay Flowers, baller. I'll give him that. Sam Laporta, dead. Just lost in that offense. Not resurgence, but Jamison Williams showing up. Laporta is an afterthought. McConkey, we'll get into this later. He's not the guy in San Diego. Dead. Sanders in Miami. Now that they don't have Tua, can't move the ball. Dead. Houston's defense, they're balling out. But even his bench is dead. Raheem Mostert, dead. Leggett, dead. Keenan Allen, dead. Fryermuth, dead. Like can we talk about Will Levis too? I don't even know how I skipped him. Mr. Mayo and his coffee, Mr. Two Pump Chuck. They're a whole lot of.
He's done like a surrender cobra 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, there's a whole. We could spend an hour talking about Will Levis. He is the new famous Jameis. Jameis Winston, and I think Will Levis is giving him a run for his money. This dude is bad. Get him.
That's a hard take on Jameis. Everybody likes him at least.
Yeah. I mean, Will Levis is the starting quarterback right now, so somebody likes him. How much longer?
At least didn't Jameis throw like 40 touchdowns in the season? At least he threw like a million picks too, but at least he.
Will Levis comeback season.
40-40 club.
But let's go to Nick's team. This week 2 matchup was a battle of the barn burners.
So, I do want to give Chef a little bit of a silver lining playbook. The waiver wire is your friend. All right.
We'll see. We'll look at that. But Nick's lineup, Lamar Jackson did what he needed to do. Didn't show up for projections, but this team has me concerned with a new OC. To be honest, Joe Mixon injury. He came back, but he didn't look right. Zach Moss, absolute dud. Amon-Ra, he showed up, did what he needed to do. But you definitely have some concerns moving forward. I was watching that game, and his knee looks pretty jacked. I think this is another injury that lingers. Devontae Smith, baller. Travis Kelce, dud. One of those guys I think you had him last year, but should not have drafted him this year. I'm going to die on that hill. He's done. He's cooked. He's over the hill. He's going to do what he needs. He's going to do what he needs from a football standpoint, but for fantasy, he's cooked.
Mahomes has his new shiny objects. Like Rashee Rice looks awesome, so Kelsey's not the main guy anymore.
Yeah. Jaden Reed, until Jordan Love's come back, RIP. Harrison Butker, as long as he can yell at women, he's good. Baltimore's defense, they're Roquan Smith, Agent Zero, big fan. Wish he would have thrown some fisticuffs with the Chiefs players, but that in week 1. But he's an absolute baller. Looking at the bench, it's a little scarce down here. Maybe Thomas pulls through. Lazard is like Sammy Watkins 2.0. He might have a strong week 1, but then you see week 2 and 20 plus points week 1, 2.1 week 2. I don't think he's
Yeah,
going
like
to pick up.
his 2 touchdowns week 1 came in garbage time too. Like,
Yeah,
and the first one was on a free play. Like on all the stuff that's going like according to plan for the Jets, it's not Lazard that's getting targeted.
for sure. All right, let's keep going. Gappa versus Jordan. Jordan, take us away, brother. This is your
so
only week 2 loss on the pick'em. So let's hear it. Defend your team.
there's not much defending to do here. I'm a guy. I said last week that I rely on my kicker, my defense, not show up. Do I have hope that they'll show up this next week? I don't know about the Cowboys defense, but I think Moody will. I mean, Moody will be back. I believe in that.
Riding the D looked a little painful for you this time.
Riding the D was very painful.
No lube.
No lube. None.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna go on a limb here. Same with the Kelsey take. Pat Mahomes, not a good fantasy quarterback.
You might be onto something.
He's cooked. I think the Chiefs figure out a way to win. His days of 20 plus and 30 plus points are behind him. I'll go out on a limb and say that.
I'm not ready to say that yet.
Yeah, I don't.
Still the top dog in.
Slow.
Still the top dog in football terms, but fantasy terms.
Now that Pacheco's out, we'll see what it's really like when they can't run the ball every time they want.
I mean, he was honestly looking like last year. He wasn't that great of a fantasy quarterback. It was probably 2 years ago.
I know.
He sucked.
Yeah, like the receivers last year were really bad. He was throwing to Justin Watson every play, and now he's got.
Yeah, I think he's still feeling it out a little bit. I'm gonna give him.
Rashi was there. Kelsey was
having
there.
having all the worthy like end arounds aren't helping either when he gets like big yards on those. But we'll see.
Yeah,
but
I'm not ready to say that Mahomes is washed yet.
No, he's certainly not washed. Yeah. It's just how good of a fantasy quarterback is he? I don't know. Rodgers. Speaking of which, I cut Rodgers. It was just I don't see any upside there anymore. Like it just doesn't seem like that. They're just not going to be throwing around the ball a lot.
I don't know if I agree with that. He had 2 check down screen passes that went for I think 30 plus and 20 plus for touchdowns. I mean, he doesn't look bad. It's just he's not Rodgers of 4 or 5 years ago.
He's not mobile anymore.
Sure. Yeah,
he just can't do what he used to do, and I don't know how that's going to translate through the season to fantasy.
Yeah, Matt, I think that Dallas D left you walking funny the next day. For 44 points in the game. I think there was 35 in that first half. I don't. At least this team isn't what everybody thought it would be going into week 3.
No, and I mean, and all credit to Gappa too. He put together a hell of a squad. I mean, he had Hall, Charbonnet. I don't even know. It's a French ass name if I ever heard one.
Charbonnet.
You know what they
really
call,
nice vintage.
You know what they call Charbonnet? Charbonnet in that's from California. Sparkling wine.
Really nice smoky afterburst on that Charbonnet.
Yes. And Metcalf. I mean, McBride, Arizona. The trends are basically if you have a Cardinal on your team, you're probably doing pretty well.
Well, let's talk about McBride. I haven't seen this before. I was watching that game, and I absolutely love that they threw this in here. 1 fumble TD. He had an instance where James Conner was rumbling, tumbling, and trying to go for the end zone, fumbled the ball forward, and McBride pulled the fat man TD and fell on the ball. And I absolutely love Sleeper for labeling it as such. Fumble TD.
That's a football play.
Yeah, game looks a little different without that for his stat line, but with extra 6 points, gotta love it.
That's just ball awareness, it's part of the
Exactly.
game.
Exactly. Gappa, I'm sorry I let you down. Jaden, less points than CJ Stroud week 2. I think he had, we'll get to this later, 3 or 4 drives where he could add a touchdown pass and could add a much bigger week. I still stand behind that pick. I think you got wheel and deal Stroud. I think you have a certified winner in Jaden. My boy is going to be rookie of the year, franchise quarterback, all hands on deck. This dude's a baller. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
We're behind him on this. So let's keep rolling though. Next up, we have Hawk Tua, Mr. Frank. I think the 15 minutes of fame there are beyond gone. We need to change that name versus Jeff. Diving into this, you still won, even though Tua is probably brain dead at this point. It's a strong showing from the rest of your team. Josh Jacobs decimated the Colts, 151 yards on the ground. Like Kev said, I think he had 120 in the first half, which is crazy. Alvin Kamara, we'll come back to him. He balled. Ayuk. What's your guys' take here? I think
he's
this
still
was
like
a
kind of getting
mistake.
bearings. Drafting him?
No, not drafting him. 49ers paying him. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's all right. He's a good.
Mm,
He's a high variance player, but he
I
does
think it
have
probably.
upside.
I think it like depends on what they do in the future because paying him and then paying McCaffrey and Trent Williams, they have Kittle and Debo coming up on contracts and they have to pay Purdy. So I don't know if it's going to cost them like losing Debo and Kittle.
they're gonna lose somebody.
They can't pay all these guys, and if I'm choosing between Debo and Ayuk for that team, I'd rather have Debo.
Yeah,
That's
tell you
my
what,
opinion.
I wasn't very motivated by Ayuk running routes around trees during OTAs, and I don't think he was worth being paid. Should have traded him for a draft pick. Nick, you heard it here first. Throw me in San Fran. I'm ready to take over the GM spot. Let me bring that team a Super Bowl. Frank Rashi Rice, great pick in the draft there. Parkinson, you missed there, bud.
Get a new one.
I mean, nobody stayed on a tight end this year. I swear, it's the game changed over the last year for whatever reason.
It's Trey McBride the best.
Cool it, Mr. Premature. We're gonna get to that on the other side of this matchup.
All right.
Jamar Chase, I am not a fan of him right now. I think he
looks a little weird.
He looks unhealthy. He wanted to get paid. Still hasn't been paid. I think he's
Skyline Chili.
Skyline Chili.
The one paradise.
Straight through the body. I think that's somebody you might want to drop the dead weight before it gets too late. The bench here, B Rob on the bench. I get it with the rest of your lineup. I'll be a homer there. Let me know when you're ready to dish him off. He's a baller. But you have some pieces here.
Yeah, did you see? I don't know how much you watched the Steelers and Broncos game, but it seemed like every time Pickens had some really, really big plays all taken away.
Oh,
oh my God! I think he had a touchdown taken away and like a 50-yard catch. And
hot take on Pickens: he cannot make a normal catch. He has a case of the drops whenever there's a normal catch. But you throw this dude like 2 inches from the sideline, and he goes full OBJ versus the Cowboys and just miraculous catches. But right there with you, Kev, every single one was called back. I think this game he should have put up a 30 bomb. But there were so many flags. It was so bad that Mike Tomlin took out his right tackle. I was laughing as it happened. Mike Tomlin said, I think Pickens had like 15 points on one drive, and Tomlin's like, I've seen enough, and just pulled the tackle. That was pretty funny. It made me laugh. Let's hop over to that other side. Jeff, I know you're 0-2. I still believe in this team, though. Josh Allen, rough showing week 2, fantasy stud. Bijan underperformed due to his projection or from his projections, but still he's good. Aaron Jones, a little cause for concern. Already banged up week 2. Played a tough 49ers defense. I'm not sure how durable he's going to be. Big fan of him. Going through Marvin Harrison Jr. What do you guys think?
Ball.
He's awesome.
Baller. He showed
Yeah.
up big. Kevin, I think you had a Colt stat. What were you saying about?
I mean, yeah, like he is the first rookie receiver to have 4 catches and 2 tutties in the first quarter since his dad in '96.
That's crazy.
Pretty
Like-
sweet.
Like father, like son. Just continuing the legacy. Good pick there. Jalen Waddle cooked. Right on the Tyreek Hill train. No Tua, big problem. Jordan, back to your statement. Brock Bowers.
It was great.
He's not number 1 in points, but I think he's this year's Sam Laporta. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, in a year where tight ends are troubles, he has been more consistent than most. I think you're going to see that continue too.
Yeah. Plus, like, I mean, Minshew can't really throw deep, so having Bowers across the middle is going to be really nice. He'll get a lot of targets.
Yeah. Cooper's on this team too. He's another guy, just like you were saying with Pickens. He had I think a 40-yard easy touchdown. Mr. Massage overthrew him. But once again, biggest struggle. Will Jeff watch this pod? Probably not. I think you got wheel and deal some pieces here, make some moves, and I'm not sure if the manager's bought in to make that happen. So we'll keep it running here. We have a lot of things here. Let's hop into the next part. One of my favorite segments. I've become death. Player that went nuclear. Week 3, week 2. Who you guys picking for that one?
Got to be Alvin. And
Yeah, I mean,
easy
4 touchdowns.
easy choice.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara. He looked like I think was it 2020 and 2018 where he had about 1,600 scrimmage yards, 15 plus tutties. The dude balled out. No surprise on an absolute pitiful Dallas team. Chris, you got to talk to your boys. They are not them this year. But Kamara was just he was a dog, absolute beast. Easy pick. I'm going to be a homer on this one. Austin Seibert. He put up 22 points, fantasy kicker number 1, week 2. He showed up for Colby Parkinson, went 0 for 2 on field goals week 1, and this dude just came in and he knocked it out the park. This dude, pick him up while he's hot. Fantasy pickup of the year potential. And I think there was some weird stat. I think Washington, what was it, Kev? They're the first team to win.
The Giants were the first team to score 3 touchdowns, allow 0, and lose in regulation.
Talk about a grit win from Washington. The commies pulling through. Absolutely love it. Love it.
So this led me to ask a question this last week. If you were put out on the field for an extra point, you had 10 chances. Are you making 1?
Yes, I'm making 9.
Not from where it is right now. Not from where it is right now. It's like
you're
like
going
a
against
35-yarder, isn't it?
Like,
yeah, it's like it's not a college extra point.
Yeah.
I still think I can do it.
How many would you hit?
Confidence is everything in life, and it's one of those things. You believe in yourself, you're gonna make it happen. We used to dabble back in high school, kick some kicks, a snap to myself, line it up on the tee, then run back and give it a swift kick, a little boot, if you will. And I was pretty deadly out there. We were
I took
making
shit out of the
any
ball.
we weren't making any 40 yarders, but you put me in from 30 in, and we're like Mr. Automatica back in the day. So yeah, throw me for 9 out of 10. I'll throw money on that.
I'll happily take that if we're
Yeah.
playing it.
Man,
Bet against you
okay,
anytime.
gotcha. I know I have a bionic back. I think it only enhances my kicking ability. So you guys are in for a
Yeah.
world of hurt. Let me know if time into place. You guys pick the defense. I'll pick the O line, and we'll get this going. Let's get rolling into a new segment. We're gonna throw out something called Two Truths and a Lie. This week we have two participants. So Jordan isn't on the hot spot. We have Kev on the line. We're gonna play who scored more points than Bryce Young in week 2. And you guys have pretty good odds. You got a pick 'em out of 3, and first person scored more. We're gonna go through. I'm gonna list 3 people. You guys are gonna pick the fraud. First person, Wanya Morris. Second person, Brock Faber. Third person,
Who?
Brock Faber. Third person, Sion Vaki. Let's start with a guest. Kev,
This is
who
this is
more?
more. This is scored more than.
We're
scored
trying to
more
find
than
the one of the 3 that scored.
No, you're picking the one that did not score more than Bryce Young. So I'm going to count to 3. You guys are both going to shout out your answer. You have Wanya Morris, Brock Faber, Sion Vaki. All right. Come on, count. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, go. You guys are going to shout your answer. 1, 2, 3, go.
Brock
Faber.
Faber.
Look at you two. Do you guys know?
I said it first. He piggybacked.
No,
I think that was right. I think Kev said it first. So let's walk through these fabulous
let's
players.
run the video back. Let's run the audio back.
Wanya Morris,
Got
fat
a touchdown.
man.
I know that.
Yeah, fat man touchdown.
Yeah.
In KC, they ran a chick play. Fat man touchdown might be the greatest play in all of NFL. Once again, as a former fat man, still a fat man. Once you get a touchdown, you got to celebrate. You throw it down. You go back to the good old days, William the Refrigerator Perry. They used him, and when that man ran, he rumbled. It was fun times. Brock Faber. I have $5 if you guys can name what does he do?
He doesn't score more than Bryce Young.
Yeah, what do you mean by what does he do?
Do either of you guys know who
Do I
he
get
is?
$5 for that?
No. Smart ass answer. Fuck off. He is Minnesota Wild defensive player for hockey. You guys, I could have thrown out some hints. It would have made it too obvious. You guys got it either way. I mean, you basically had a 50-50 chance between 2 names.
Right.
But he's a standout all-star Minnesota Wild up-and-comer. Big fan of him. I'm a hockey guy. Probably the only one in this group. But here we are. Then do you guys know who Sione Vaki is?
No clue.
He is third-string running back for the Detroit Lions. And scored more than Bryce Young in a close game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So he was out there. Bryce Young put up a solid 2.9 points in week 2. Sione Vaki scored 3.1. I almost did a segment of who scored more than Pat Mahomes. That could have been a fun one, but a few more names. But I thought Bryce Young is a good one to go over too. So we're gonna roll into the next segment. It's so over. We are so back. Two different parts here. I'm gonna throw one out here. I was inspired by someone for this one. Not going to name any names, might be making a guest appearance today, but we are so back. Hashtag down with chef. Where are we at with this? How are we feeling about this? Chef is 0-2 to start the year. I think there's still resentment from him being a top scorer almost every single year. Do we feel bad for him?
No, I
No,
don't think so.
Chef,
I'm just happy
I
he
feel
overtook me
bad.
for last place.
What'd you say?
I mean, he overtook me for last place, so I'm happy about that.
There you go, Chef. I feel bad for you. The injury bug hit hard, very early. I think you got some moves to make, but down with Chef was thrown out there. I don't think it's right since you're already bottom of the barrel and have the injury bug, but it's back and it's thriving. So I'm sorry to do that to you.
It's good to be back.
That being said, I don't look forward to somehow losing to him later this season. So
Exactly. I think we all cursed ourselves. We're gonna get absolutely destroyed by Chef. I can't even talk. I'm 0-2 right now. My team is in shambles. I'm shook. But still,
Yeah. Well, the
uh,
only reason I'm not in last is because he has like 2 fewer points than me, so 2 weeks.
gotta love it.
Hey, he's
Ne-
still at the bottom.
Next take of mine. It's so over. Bryce Young. I think he had a picture from his Bama days where he did a day in the life, and he went to work at Raisin Canes. I think he's back to that portion of his life. He threw out a quote. My confidence is back in the Lord, and a few days after that, he's on the bench. He's without a job. A swift kick to the
Yeah.
ass, and he didn't get a answer to his prayer there. Where are your guys' thoughts, Bryce Young?
I don't know if it's his fault, but he's also just not good. Um, the organization, top to bottom, is just a dumpster fire. So he doesn't have any help around him anywhere, but he also just hasn't had like any good plays throughout a year and a half,
Yeah,
year and 2 games. But
he had some luck or some like looked decent at times last year, but with all the changes they made in the offseason, they did not do him any favors.
this dude's jumping
should the Dolphins come calling? See if
Uh-uh.
they can see if the Panthers want to sell low.
I think he's cooked. This dude has to jump to throw the ball every single pass. Looking like Derek.
I'm glad you finished that thought after that pause in the middle.
He looks like Derrick Henry throwing a pass back to the Tim Tebow days at Florida with the jump pass and the college football championship game. But it's just one of those things. He doesn't look right. I think he's a fraud. But
I mean, him and Murray are the same height.
but key difference,
Murray's
eh,
fast as hell.
Murray can extend the play. He had a play versus the Rams. He made a defender touch the grass twice on the same play. Just juked this dude out of his mind, extended the play 8 seconds. Whereas Bryce Young is a pocket passer. That's a hot take, Jordan. Don't agree there.
Yeah,
How
I
do you
mean,
think
Russell
Fields
Wilson though
going
is also
from
about the same height.
Pittsburgh
He's
to?
not really a runner. I think there's a world where Bryce Young ends up being a decent NFL quarterback. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer, but
I
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think
look at
that
the Panthers cast off Darnold and Mayfield having a resurgence here. Matt Rule went off. Just go to the Panthers and leave somewhere else, and you'll become good.
I think that world is the flag football league. Throw him in the Olympics, coming around hot. He's not an NFL quarterback. I would take that bet. Another take I had. We're so back. Um, One of my favorite segments from the I think it started last year, but Kirk O chains. Um, Dirty Birds are flying high. Big win versus the Eagles week 2. Kirko, he's back. He started to move around the pocket a little better. That last drive, I don't understand why the Eagles didn't blitz him, put any pressure whatsoever, but that gave him the confidence. Big drive from the Dirty Birds and a Drake London touchdown. I think Kirko gets up and running. What do you guys have for takes?
That whole game, I was very frustrated because I needed Drake London to get targets, and he still looks to nobody's most of the game. That was really frustrating. Then once the game got tight, Mooney still got a lot of carries and catches, and he looked great. But it's nice that they finally looked at London on the last drive, and he was the main guy in the last drive. They need to establish him as the top guy. Not just for my team, but for the Falcons to be good. They need it to be the Bijan, Pitts, and London show.
Agreed.
Kirk looked good. He just needed to get his swagger back, but he looked really good the last couple drives there.
He was balling out. Not to toot your own player's horn, but you got him on the bench there.
Yeah.
Another hot take. We're switching over from segments, but Nick, I know I'm picking on you a little bit this segment, but can we talk about that Justin Jefferson touchdown? I like to call it a 99 air yard touchdown. It was about a 50-yard pass, but Jefferson caught him deep, and the 49ers DBs got outrun by an NFL referee. You had this dude just cooking with propane. This guy he was like Hank Hill, just cooking with gas, running down. He got to the goal line just to see if Justin Jefferson broke the plane. Are we at a point where you have some hidden NFL talent as referees? Do we need to do a referee combine?
You think they'll have it at Arrowhead? Or where are you thinking?
I mean, that's the place where they learn best about home cooking, right?
Yeah.
Jordan, what are your thoughts there? I think you're a little bit of a Chiefs fan. Where do you stand?
I'm not really a
Still
Chiefs
listening.
fan.
I'll be right back.
I guess I root for them. If they lose a game, I don't literally there's nothing that's keeping me on. There's nothing other than I like watching how they play a fun style and they win close games at the end. That's kind of fun to watch.
You're a big Taylor Swift household.
Yes, I will say that. I got a little Tay-Tay action going on. But again, do I have some bias there? I guess maybe slight, but it's pretty. It's not a fandom by any means. I'm never gonna own any Chiefs gear. Probably go to a Chiefs game. I'll say I think that a narrative was constructed, and people have been grabbing onto it because they're the team that wins a lot. They're on TV in the big slots a lot. There's a bias towards what you think you see more often because you're watching them more often, probably because they're in the bigger game. So if you're winning games close and you're coming back, there's going to be a little bit of a bias against. Oh, I keep seeing this, but if you watched every game, those plays happen all the time. That was absolutely pass interference at the end of the game.
It was
it just was it's kind of shitty. It was college rules and it's not as big of a deal, but it
was
NFL, so it goes to spot.
100% was.
So
they can't be mad about that.
I think it gets a little bit overblown. It becomes the Twitter discourse, and then it just oh, this is what I got to say because that's what's out there. I think maybe they get a little bit of a whistle, but not to the extent that people make it out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. No hot takes there. But
I do kind of want to get back to that Vikings game, like you were talking about Jefferson. I mean, nobody took the Vikings seriously after last week because they played the Giants, and everybody thought that 49ers would curb stomp them, basically. And the Vikings really came out firing. Arnold looked great. Revenge game.
I'm going to stop you here. I'm gonna stomp this theory. Vikings absolutely own the Niners. Yeah, I think the Niners haven't beat them since like 2008, and especially at home. They Niners see the boogeyman when they travel up north to Minneapolis. Just cold hard facts. On top of that, not a Minnesota fan, but surrounded by a ton of them, being from there. And there's a cycle of life, or well, I was just watching Lion King. Let's call it the circle of life. You have a nice big wheel, and every year ends the same way. It starts the same way, ends the same way, follows the same cycle. So think of it. I know we talked about a circle, but we're almost a roller coaster here. You're climbing up the hill. You're starting to get excited. Vikings are 2-0. Beat the Giants. All right, great. Did what we're supposed to. Oh, shit. We beat the 49ers. Weren't supposed to do that. Now they're going to start hitting division play. They might make a little splash. They're going to start to build hope. You guys, as Husker fans, are very used to this. Same cycle. You're going to start to get excited. You're going to get to the top of the hill, and then all of a sudden your stomach drops. And you're like, oh, fuck. Injury bugs start hitting. Boom, first jump. Then back up, then back down. Boom, division play. Got a whole lot of better players. Lions, they're not fraudulent. Jordan Love's going to come back.
Lions.
Up another hill. Boom, back down. Caleb Williams is starting to ball out. And the Vikings always have false hope. It's just every single year. Playoff hopes build. They have a new star quarterback that's just somehow miraculously balling out. Brett Favre, Gus Frerotte. Fucking what was it? Tavares Jackson even had his moment into the sun. They just have people show up.
Joe Webb.
Yeah, Joe Webb. What was the fucking the Pasternaut? What was his name last year? What was that dude's name? The bald dude.
The
bald dude.
Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin. Yeah.
He's on the 49ers now. He's like their backup. What's his name?
What the fuck is his name?
John Glenn.
This is bothering the shit out of me. Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs.
The Pasternaut. He had him last year. Even Nick Mullins. He threw up some absurd numbers with the Vikings, and they're going to fall back to earth. This is a fluke.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kev. I'm going against you here.
That's fine, but that was a massive upset. Like right when that touchdown, changed everything.
Yeah.
I gotta let you guys take it to the finish line. I got Graham on the loose right now.
Gotcha. All right, week 3 pick 'em. Let's run through it. First matchup, Jared versus Jeff. Oh, I thought he was going to be able to pick it. Kev.
No, I'll take his place, I guess.
Fair. You're going to pick for
Jeff?
Jordan. So,
all right.
me versus Jeff. Close matchup on projections. Who are you going with?
See. I'm riding with you.
Yeah.
I think Dak has a rebound, even though Baltimore's a tough matchup. I think he'll have a rebound. DJ Moore plays the Colts. I think he'll go off. A-Chain, yeah, I like your team. Especially question mark on Aaron Jones. I don't believe in Cooper as long as Deshaun Watson is looking like he is. So, Waddle is a tough play for him right now with Thompson. So, I like your squad.
Yeah, I think this is another toss-up. I bet on myself twice and lost twice. I think this is the week I turn it around. Matchups aren't the best, but I think Jeff's matchups are worse. I'm hoping I hope Dak finally shows why he got paid. Let's keep
Ferguson playing?
Huh?
Ferguson playing?
He practiced, so hoping.
Yeah.
Let's keep rolling. Next matchup, we got you versus Paul. Who are you picking for Jordan here?
I don't believe in my own team yet.
So you're picking Paul?
I'm picking Paul.
Okay. I think this one's gonna be.
Yeah,
I think this one's gonna be closer. I mean, your projections are very close. This could be the week that Caleb turns it around. Like we spoke about earlier,
yeah,
Indy's defense, big
yeah,
opportunity to shine. Maybe this is the week
yeah.
Swift gets going with an absolute terrible
Right.
pass or
Yeah.
rush defense and a couple injuries. Um,
I'm pretty much
but
just gonna start Williams so that I'll be happy one way or the other.
yeah, there you go. Or maybe it's a low scoring game and the Bears win. It could be a lose lose. But
Yeah.
but Paul's team, I think they
I
should.
like ETN, Mason, and Collins. So
Yeah, there's a lot to like on this team. I think there's enough to pull out a week 3 victory.
I feel like it's
Kenneth,
only like a matter of time before Kincaid kind of takes off because he's probably like the main receiver option. I
yeah,
think he'll have some big game at some point soon.
yeah, and Paul has a good team. Love hurt on the bench. Kenneth Walker hurt on the bench. Who knows when he's going to come back? That's a big question mark.
Yeah,
AJ Brown, I've
yeah,
heard about an extended leave of absence from him.
yeah,
I think if AJ Brown's this matchup, Paul wins easily. But without it,
yeah,
I think it's truly close to that 51-49 percentage flip. I think this is a
yeah,
close matchup, but I'm going
yeah.
Paul.
Maybe I can keep my ascent going from 65 points to I think I had like 113.
There you go.
See if I can work my way up from Super Weenie Hut Junior to maybe I'll be in a salty spittoon in like 5 weeks.
Yeah, but maybe it's your first one. Let's keep it rolling. Next matchup: Pryor versus Jake. Who are you picking on this one?
What do we got? Let's take a look. Mm. Um, I am leaning towards Jake in this one. I Dobbins facing Pittsburgh. I think it might be time for him to kind of, I don't know, pump the brakes on his resurgence for a week. I don't like Taysom Hill at tight end. He's banged up. Um, I'd have the question marks because he's got some big injuries.
Yeah,
Um, like
both.
we said earlier, Jake filled his injuries like Chris Godwin. He's got some good players. So I'm going with Cruz.
Yeah, I think Cruz wins this one. He's a dog in the matchup right now. This is a bounce back game for Rashad White versus Denver. He's going to get plenty of looks. Denver's defense isn't terrible, but that quarterback is something else where it makes it hard not to score points. I think
Yeah,
Pryor, Dobbins comes back to earth versus Pittsburgh. Maybe this is a game you don't wish an injury upon any player, but that's a physical team,
yeah,
and Dobbins is very brittle. So
yeah,
some tough matchups for Pryor. I think this is cruises to 3-0. I agree with you there. Going next,
there we go.
Chris versus Gappa. Who you got? Or actually, I'll lead off. You pick the next one or pick the last
All
one.
right.
I'm
Yep, you
going.
got this one.
I'm going in this for reasons I said before. I'm going Gappa. Um, he's got some interesting matchups where they are tough, but these players could pop off. I think Jaden versus Cincy. I don't think New England has enough to shut down Brees Hall. Najee Harris is wild card. DK Metcalf versus Miami. He's going to ball. Um, Ridley wild card. McBride. I think he shows up. There and then Chef for reasons I said before. This team is too hurt, and I don't think Steele is the pickup that's going to save this team.
Yeah, I agree with you again. I don't think Chef has the fire. Like if Gappa has a couple of guys that pop off. Steph just doesn't have the firepower to keep up.
Yeah.
Zeke is limited. I mean, Tyreek isn't going to be the same, like we already said. Zay Flowers is great, but Kappa has a lot of consistent guys. Like Ridley looks like the number one option there in Tennessee.
All right.
Yeah, I like Kappa's team more.
You got the next one. Jordan versus Nick.
All right, let's see. We'll see if Jordan can make a resurgence after his horrible game and see if he can knock off 2-0. Let's see. I am going to go with Jordan. I don't know about starting Rashid Shaheed. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, he's been. I probably shouldn't doubt the Saints after these first two games, so I can't really blame him for it. But Taylor's looked great. I don't know why he got benched in the whole fourth quarter when he was the only good player on the Colts the whole game. Saquon looks great in Philly. Besides that drop that cost him the game, but I think Mike Evans, it'll be his turn to pop off, just like Godwin did last week. I think it's going to flip.
Yeah.
And Mixon's banged up. I don't believe in Zach Moss. Not sure about Jaden Reed. Not sure about Kelsey. So I like Jordan's side.
I had Jordan as well, but for the purpose of this, so we don't have the same picks
don't want to agree every
across the board, I'm gonna switch up. I'm gonna go Nick.
Yeah.
I think he has some interesting matchups. Bounce back. Lamar could go both ways. Does the Ravens offense figure it out, or does Dallas's defense pull back to the mean? I think a lot of this matchup.
Speaking of teams needing a new team name,
One,
he doesn't have CMC, and two, you don't want him run right now.
Yeah. Good point. Maybe you're maybe not the Madden curse. Maybe it's your fantasy name cursing CMC. Time for an update. But Lamar Jackson, he's a wild card on this. I think he has a good game, but does he ball out like he should? Joe Mixon, is he healthy? I think that matchup, this matchup depends on that. Zach Moss, maybe Washington is a bounce back game like the Colts. Really bad run defense. Good comeback. Amon-Ra St. Brown hurt. Is he healthy? If Mixon and Brown are unhealthy, then Nick is cooked, and I would change my pick to Jordan. I would like that flexibility. Devontae Smith going to ball out. Kelsey washed. Reed lost without Love. But we'll see. But for I'll pick Nick over Jordan here, unless those two people are banged up.
I mean, if the Chiefs are in Atlanta, do you think Taylor Swift will be there? If she's not there, maybe he'll play well.
Maybe. We'll see. But I don't know. You got Taylor and Brittany feuding over political stances. We'll see what happens in the ATL. Last one here, we got Alex and Frank. This is a battle of the juggernauts.
You pick first.
I know. This is a tough one.
Yeah, that is.
Let me give a quick look here.
Both these teams are stacked.
I'm gonna
There's
go.
one glaring weakness.
Let's both here. Let's do this. So we don't get the feedback. Let's both say it on 1, 2, 3, go. And then
With the person's name that you're picking.
Yeah. Who are you gonna pick? And then we'll stick to
Count
that.
of 3.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, go. Say the name.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go. Frank.
Nice.
God damn it. Well, that didn't work how I thought it was. I think Goff has a rebound game. He's going to be the shootout versus Kyler. Josh Jacobs, they're going to rely on him with
Yeah,
either Malik Willis or hurt Jordan Love versus Tennessee. Tennessee's defense is very disrespected. I think they're better than people think they are. So I think they show up, but Packers will figure it out. Kamara, I think the hot streak, maybe not a 40 burger versus Philly, but that
yeah,
offense has scored, I think they're top five for most points through 2 weeks.
yeah.
So they're
And like
doing,
Philly's D, I mean, like they had some holes that Bijan ran through, so like I think Kamara's gonna be fine there.
yeah.
Uh, Jalen Carter got like suspended or benched or something for being late to a meeting, and like the Eagles are kind of a I don't know soap opera right now.
Yeah, yeah, we could do a whole segment on that. Ayuk, I think he scores a touchdown. Maybe necessarily doesn't figure it out, but gets enough points. Race car Rice, he's balling out. He should be suspended this
Yeah,
year, but whatever for whatever reason he's still playing. Biggest discrepancy here is the
yeah,
tight end matchup. Kittle,
yeah,
if he's healthy, definitely outplays Parkinson. That could be the difference maker
yeah,
here. Um,
yeah.
Chase for
Frankie's got to fix the tight end spot.
yeah, for sure. And who does he play? I think I spoke about this earlier, but he has a spoil of riches here that is almost to his demise. He has some good plug
Yeah,
and play players, and it's a
yeah,
roulette wheel of a curse of who do you play.
yeah.
I think on Alex's side, Burrow gets up back on track versus Washington. Terrible defense. Alex just has to hope that Yoshi continues to find the ball or Gasecki and doesn't end up in Chase's
I think he was
hands.
good.
It,
I was
it,
impressed with Gasecki.
yeah, there's a few targets on there, and Burrow and Chase were fighting during the game. But I'll tell you what, Emmanuel Forbes is right there in the dumpster with Dak Prescott, and this is the game where Jamar Chase could burn that defense. So if that happens,
Yeah,
RIP to your team.
yeah. Like
Gibbs,
maybe if Higgins is back, that could open some things up for Chase too.
yeah, yeah. Gibbs, he's going to do Gibbs things. I'm still very confused about that offense. This is lightning in a bottle. Does not get the ball enough. Let this kid
Yeah,
shine. Yeah, I get it.
Montgomery's awesome though. I love Montgomery. He's even though he's not as good as Gibbs, he's still fun to watch.
Yeah, Detroit are the new Saints. Mark Ingram, Alvin
Yeah,
Kamara, Thunder, and Lightning. You got
yeah,
Montgomery and Gibbs. Same
yeah.
same
It's
thing.
great.
Same thing, but Gibbs, I think if you let that guy play every down, he's a three down back, he makes a case for 2,000 scrimmage yards.
Yeah.
I think he's very fun to watch, but Monty's very good too. James Cook,
Alex needs a Alex needs a big night tomorrow night. He's got the two early guys playing Thursday night between Garrett Wilson and Stevenson. So he'll be out to a lead, but how big?
yeah, very,
He
very
needs
true.
those guys to cash in.
James Cook fucked the 30-point game. I'm not sure how many times that happens. Miami's defense is cooked. Jacksonville's defense is better, but they're not great. To your point, Kev, Garrett Wilson. New England has a stout defense. We'll see if he gets
And
peppered.
so do the Jets.
And
Yeah,
that's
like
what
those
I
are
thought too, but they've gotten cooked on the ground. That threw me off. Malik Neighbors, 18 targets in week 2. That's absurd for a
yeah.
receiver. I think Cleveland has a good enough defense where they target that and shut it down. But
It's funny, like week 1, Wandale for the Giants had 12 targets. So and then week 2 he got nothing, so Neighbors got all of them. It's like what's going to be the trend? Are they just going to switch every week? Is Neighbors now the guy, or are they just going to be bipolar.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Honestly,
Their offense is also just trash. But
yeah. Alex, sneaky defense play, Seattle versus Miami. They have a lot to figure out down there. Can they get two of the ball, or does A Chain tear them up? But Seattle's a sneaky play. They got 11 points in week one, 7 points in week two versus Denver and New England, respectively. Um, they're figuring out in Miami. That could be a difference maker. Or maybe this is a week that Dicker the kicker comes through and wins a matchup for Alex. But um, I'm still sticking to Frank.
yeah. The the defenses are interesting. Seattle one might be a kind of a gamble. I mean, it's kind of like what you did with Colts going against Malik Willis. Now Alex is doing that against Skylar Thompson. But you're still facing, yeah. I mean, yeah, Tyreek. It's still Tyreek Hill. He could pop one off
For sure.
that could still kind of blow up. But it's probably a good bet that Alex will get points out of Seattle and have a good game. But I don't know.
For sure.
It's still risky because they have a lot of explosive players.
Well, we'll see. Kevin and I followed suit on a lot of picks. We have one deferring pick between Jordan and Nick here, but let's see where this ends up. Did Kev come through for Jordan on week 3 with that different pick from me? But that's all we got for the week 2 recap. Thank you to our special guest Kev for hopping on the pod. Does he make a permanent appearance? Who knows? Especially with Jordan having to sub off some dad duties, but life happens. We get that. We hope you guys liked the pod. Yeah. Got a lot of positive feedback from the week 1 review. Anything we can do moving forward, segments you guys like, things that need to be cut. All ears. Throw it my way. Throw it Jordan's way. Let's make this fun for the league. All right, fellas. Signing off.
Thanks, guys.
See you week 3.